Did you hear the news? Swoop Airlines is now serving San Diego with nonstop service to Edmonton. And I'm here to try it out. Massive thanks to Surfshark for sponsoring this video, by the way. Finally, after 2 years, it's time to take off the masks. I'm not gonna lie though, I feel naked, so it might be going back on. Anyway, my name is Scott. Running SANspotter.com is my full-time job, and yeah, Swoop Airlines is now serving San Diego. For those that don't know, it's basically the Spirit Airlines of Canada, so expecting anything more than a review of a bare-bones flight experience would be foolish of you. Speaking of being foolish, so far I'm the only person here in line not wearing a mask. I really thought more people would be excited about this. Good news! If you're vaccinated, Canada no longer requires a pre-departure COVID test to enter. Bad news? There's still a lot of personal information you'll need to submit ahead of time via the ArriveCan app. But thanks to Surfshark, I can feel comfortable submitting all of that info over public Wi-Fi without worrying about it being intercepted and stolen. If you've watched any of my videos over the past several years, you already know that Surfshark is the only VPN service that I use. It basically encrypts all of the data that is being transmitted to and from my devices, which is perfect for this type of situation. Before traveling to Canada, I need to upload my proof of vaccination and all my passport info. Surfshark will encrypt all of that data automatically without me having to do anything. Just launch Surfshark, select a virtual location, and voila! It runs completely in the background, and it's so fast that you won't even notice. Surfshark is also great for accessing content that isn't available in your specific region, which will come in really handy once I arrive in Canada. Anyway, using the promo code SCOTT with the link in the description below, you can get 2 years of Surfshark for 83% off the normal price. They're also going to throw in an extra 3 months on top of that for free if you act soon, which is bonkers. This deal won't last forever though, so you're gonna have to act fast. And now that all my information is submitted, let's go to Canada, eh? Interestingly enough, Swoop Airlines uses Terminal 2 West here at the San Diego airport. This is where all international flights arrive and depart from, but since passengers go through U.S. passport control and customs prior to leaving Canada, they don't have to use this terminal. They basically got lucky. This is by far the nicest terminal in the airport by a long shot, so I really appreciate not having to deal with Terminal 1 before a bare-bones ultra-low-cost carrier experience. See? I told you the mask was going back on. And not because Swoop Airlines requires it per Canadian regulations. I used to get sick all the time while traveling, but that stopped once I started wearing a mask. It might be a permanent thing for me. Anyway, the WestJet logo here on the back of my Swoop boarding pass made me chuckle at first, until I realized, a full day later, that Swoop is actually owned by WestJet. That's pretty cool. I had no idea. Not only was this my first time flying Swoop, it was also my first time leaving the country since the pandemic started. It felt good to travel with my passport again. And what better way to kick off a return to international travel is there than by flying an ultra-cheap airline that most people have never heard of? But first things first, yeah, the legroom is really tight in these seats, which was all the more noticeable since I paid $20 over the cost of the base fare to sit here. Basically, I paid $20 to sit near the front of the airplane. Extra legroom apparently isn't a thing on these Swoop 737-800s. There are power ports at every seat though, which is something that you won't see on Spirit Airlines. So that's definitely a good thing. Something else that was really good today was my luck. Somehow, I scored an entire row of seats all to myself. And what have we here? A sign that perhaps we may be fed on this flight? Spoiler alert, no, we won't. The key when flying ultra-low-cost carriers such as this is to manage your expectations. Despite how basic this is so far, I was actually quite enjoying seeing firsthand how Canada approaches the low-cost flying thing. Of course, we haven't even started flying yet, but so far, assuming we don't back into another aircraft on our way out of here, I think this is going to turn out well. If you're curious, the load factor on today's flight was probably 70%. It was kind of obvious that most people didn't think that paying an extra $20 to sit near the front of the plane was worth it, but otherwise, they did a pretty good job of filling this aircraft today. The price of my one-way ticket to Edmonton came in at exactly $166.32, which, of course, could have been $20 cheaper if I had any amount of self-control at all. So, here we go. Assuming all goes well, this is going to be a really nice 2-hour and 45-minute flight straight north to Edmonton. A bold statement considering that we still have 2 hours and 45 minutes to go. The best way to start a review of an airline with limited onboard service is to show you the scenery. This is Naval Air Station North Island, with downtown San Diego and the International Airport over to the top left. Basically, the scenery you'll see at the end of this video will be pretty much the opposite of this. It'll be just as dry, but that's it for the views of the ocean. Turning my attention to what's happening on the inside of the airplane, not much has changed. My knees still hurt. One thing that totally caught me off guard is the fact that Swoop Airlines offers Wi-Fi access. You'll have to pay for it, of course, but it's nice to see it as an option. And although there's no streaming entertainment, it was nice to be able to get destination updates on my mobile device. Looks like I timed my visit to Edmonton just about perfectly. We San Diegans don't handle weather very well. Personally, I didn't mind the lack of video streaming options. The scenery on today's flight is sure to be spectacular, and I am so ready to see it. It'll take about an hour to get to the good stuff, though, so until then, it's just me and Ice Cube holding things down here at Seat 5A. Am I too old to still be listening to gangster rap? An hour and a half into the flight, and I'm still not seeing any snow. I totally want to, by the way. As far as the service goes on Swoop Airlines, it's pretty good. Nothing is free, of course, but there are snacks available if you're willing to pay for them. Instead of eating, I chose to be an idiot in the forward lavatory. It was so basic that I couldn't even find anything to mention for the video. Which was fine because the scenery is starting to get good, and it's only going to get better. Oh, and shout out to the designers who came up with the Swoop logo. I like it. I was thinking that maybe the S could have been more swoopy, but what do I know? I'm just a dork with a blog and a YouTube channel. Random thought, but I wonder what my buddy Neil from the Moments in the Sky YouTube channel would think of Swoop. If anything, I think I'd just love to hear swoop pronounced with a proper English accent. I know, I'm easily amused. Speaking of amusement, this is the kind of scenery that I was expecting to see. If you've never flown over Western Canada before, I highly recommend it. And you know what? I think I've seen and experienced enough to confidently recommend Swoop Airlines to anyone looking to save a few dollars on their next trip to or from Canada. Oh, and that's the Calgary airport, by the way, which means that this flight is just about over. Which is weird because I actually thought Edmonton would be a little more hilly than this. Oh well, I'm excited. I've never been this far north in Canada before, so this is definitely an eye-opening experience for me. I also thought that it would be a little bit more snowy, but still, it's beautiful up here. Anyway, welcome to Edmonton. More importantly, I hope this review convinced you that Swoop Airlines isn't all that bad. Yeah, my back is a little sore, and I can't wait to stretch my legs, but I'm glad I did this, if only to see how Canada approaches the bare-bones flying experience thing. Huge shout out to all the SANspotter patrons, by the way. Aaron Slater, David Kelly, Riley Wingo, and everyone else on this list. Your support is very much appreciated. And now it's time to gather my thoughts and prepare myself for the onslaught of tough questions that I'm about to face from a tough Canadian border agent. Those of you who have traveled in or out of Canada anytime over the past 10 years knows exactly what I'm talking about. Thanks for watching, and assuming they let me in, I'll catch you in the next one.